All right, I'm here working on a 2014 F-350, swapping out the steering wheel because my steering wheel had a lot of problems, missing foam here. The guy at the parts store said, no, you got to make sure the VIN number is correct, the steering wheel is not interchangeable, the buttons are not interchangeable, etc. But I didn't care, I just bought it anyway. The plugs seem to be the same on both, even though they have different button setups. Okay, I haven't got that far yet. However, you just take off the back, took these screws out, and the wiring's right here. You can get it out. Just get the wiring out, swap the wiring around, and just change the wiring with the buttons at the same time. Look at that. Here's the wiring. So you just swap the buttons and the wiring at the same time. So they are interchangeable. It doesn't matter what the trim level is, what the buttons are. You just pop those buttons out, pop the wiring out, and switch it around. Here's something else I noticed. If your button is broken, like this one, if you look, it's not popping in there. This one pops up and down. This one's just flat. You just take this apart, pushing these tabs, pop it out, and these are universal, these little rubber things. So it doesn't matter what your button configuration is. See, these are different. Doesn't matter if it's different because this little rubber thing is universal. These are the buttons that matter. So you just take this out, put it in here, and now it'll work again. Here's something else I noticed on this 2014 F-350. Whenever I disconnect the battery and then connect it back together, I'll get a wrench right here. And then you run codes and it says reductant heater. And what I need to do is go under the dash in the fuse box and replace and swap the relays for the reductant heater, urea heaters. Just swap them around and then start it back up and it works fine. Every time I disconnect the battery, I have to do that. Just swap relays around. Relays are fine, they still work. But once I do that, then to start it back up, I get no more wrench here. So I don't know if it has to do with a relay getting stuck when you disconnect the battery on the heater, or what the case may be. All right, took the back seats out. Gonna have to clean this up real quick. Gonna take the front seats out as well. The interior really is trashed. All of it's really dirty if you look close. But I'm gonna remove all this and get it cleaned up. All right, got the seats out. I want to show you how dirty underneath the trim. Just dirt everywhere. I wanted to show you also that this truck caught on fire. It has aftermarket wiring everywhere, and it was just directly connected to the battery with no fuse. And there was a short underneath the cab, and it burnt up all the grounds, turned them into glowing molten metal, caught on fire. Okay, when it comes to interiors like this, or even worse, what I do, and I'm just an amateur, is, yeah, you can get your soaps and your drills and your brushes and clean it all up, and then towels and dry it, and then put down some sort of dressing. And that works pretty good. That's what I think I'm going to do on this one. But what I've done in the past is cleaned it, and it still doesn't look clean. It's just, you just can't get some of the stuff off. Then I would just spray paint the entire floor with a high gloss black or even a flat black. But the problem with that is it takes like a week for the smell to go away. This one I'm just going to try to get the cleaning brush and the towels and the soaps, get it all cleaned up. And one thing I also do on the seats, a lot of that hardware you got to spray paint. This here is the kind of soap I've been using lately. Works really good. Either this or a commercial degreaser. Oh, even this Fast Orange works pretty good as well. Pretty much anything will work. Just takes a lot of elbow grease and work. But this here works really well. Mix this with water and you're good to go. I'm going to give a review of this cleaning brush. If there's any good test for it, it's this one. Was before like that. I'll show you what it looks like after. All right, it's going to be a review for that 3M interior cleaner, leather and vinyl cleaner, plus this scrub brush. This truck was, it's not just a little bit of dust. This was a plumber's truck. For nearly 10 years, a crew of plumbers worked in here, and it is just cruddy. So it's just caked in there in every nook and cranny. If you have one of these cup holders that won't close, it'll just close like that much. Won't go all the way. Reason being, way down in there was 8 pennies stuck in there. You couldn't really see them, but if you look close down in there, you could see them. All right, seems to be working quite well. One thing I wanted to say, what I do use as an amateur is big towels. Big towels can really soak up all that dirty foam. If you use something like an old t-shirt or something like that with not much absorption power, it's not going to work too good. So I use these towels. I started using these towels because I ended up at auction buying like 800 towels for a little over 200 bucks. I have all these towels, so now I use them to clean cars. Will not come clean in some spots. So I'm going to use my amateur secret weapon. That's that. And a spray bottle. Yeah, I can go over it again. It's been hours and hours and hours trying to get this clean, but when it dries, it looks like this. So I'm going to try this. Give it that wet look. Then I'm going to go over the whole floor, and hopefully it'll just look like that. All right, I'm not sure how good you can see in this lighting. Well, this is the floor done, cleaned, and dressed with a wet look. It came out pretty good. Still got to do some more cleaning of the trim and the seats. That little drill, the cleaning solution, and the wet look works wonders. And that little drill saves you a lot of work. Sometimes nothing gets it out but scrubbing, and that drill just saves you a lot of work. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here it is. 2014 F-350. This has been a heck of a ride with this truck. Let me tell you the story on this truck. I bought this truck down in Louisiana. Didn't run. Guy said I had a possible starting issue, maybe needed a new battery. It would just click, not start. Sight unseen, I purchased it, sent a truck driver down there to pick it up. It was very difficult to find a truck driver as well. I mean, this thing, I guess nobody wants to haul it all the way from Louisiana to California because it's so heavy. Not only that, it didn't run, so they had to use a winch. It cost me a lot of money to get this shipped, probably about $3,000, I think, just under $3,000. Then I get it here. I have nowhere to put it, so I just had it towed to the shop. Shop looked at it. Took about a month for them to give me an estimate. They said needed a def heater, new batteries, new starter relay, etc. So they fixed it up after I agreed to it. I went and picked it up. It was running just fine. Then one day, after I got the smog certificate, I was driving it, and it started smoking under the hood and died in the middle of the road. Looked under the hood, the ground wire was melted. Replaced the ground wire and disconnected some aftermarket wiring. Started driving again. Shut off, smoke coming out of the hood, this time on the driver's side. It caught on fire. I replaced that ground wire, started driving, just tried to get it back to my parking spot, and it died again, smoke under the hood. Caught on fire 3 times. After the next day doing some research, replaced all the ground wires. There was huge cables running from the main battery into the back in the bed here, where they had an inverter so they can plug in there and get some power. But it went straight to the battery with no fuses, and underneath the cab, the wire was chafed, and it was grounding out into the body and melting all the ground wires. Luckily, all I had to do was replace all the ground wires, remove that aftermarket wiring, and it runs and drives just fine again. So I got lucky on that. The inside was trashed, as you'll see here momentarily, but I had to clean the inside out. It was just tons of crud. The steering wheel was had some damage. Replaced the steering wheel and painted this toolbox. This toolbox I really enjoy. This is like a garage on wheels, and that's one of the main reasons why I got it. I can throw all my junk in these boxes, all my tools in these boxes, and this truck can handle the weight. I could just drive around. You got your entire garage there. You could just drive around to fix whatever you need to fix, etc. And that's what I really enjoy about it. It's also got a trailer brake and can pull some good heavy weight. Now, I looked into swapping the bed on this truck just to see what it would look like with another bed. But this turns out to be a cab and chassis truck. I did find a dually 350 bed, like the same year. And the guy wanted $1,700 for it, and it was nice condition. Just didn't have a taillight no taillights, no tailgate. But $1,700 for that, but I was considering it. However, this is a cab and chassis truck, so the fuel tank's at a different location. The fuel filler spout is behind the rear wheel. A regular truck is in front of the rear wheel, so I would have to modify the fuel filler neck, etc. It just wasn't worth it. Plus the $1,700. Now here's the interior. Now keep in mind, I got so tired of working on this truck, and this day I just wanted to show you guys where I was at so far. It could still use a whole lot more cleaning up. I could take the brushes and go through there, and it still needs to be cleaned up a whole lot more. But I needed to take a nap and eat a sandwich, drink some coffee, etc. I just wanted to show you where I'm at so far. But man, there's a lot of work, and I'm going to show you here momentarily. Take a look at this, the amount of stuff I had to do. Oh, there's some very valuable tips I want to share with you as well in regards to some weird problems that you might come into, replacing the the buttons on the steering wheel, replacing the steering wheel itself, etc. But take a look at the interior. I do got a rip here. Anybody know how to repair that? Let me know. But take a look at the back seats. Seats are actually in decent condition. My other pickup truck, I was looking for seats. They're hard to find, believe it or not, on the F-250, 350, and 450. Very difficult to find. Not too many parts available. These seats turn out to be pretty good. Well, what do you know about this Ford 6.7 diesel engine? Seemed to be very popular, my understanding. Very reliable, supposedly. Except for my uncle, he's a heavy equipment mechanic, and he says they start to run into problems around 200,000 miles or so on average. Looking around on the market, looking at other people's trucks just to see what they got, these things are pretty expensive. Really expensive. I've been wanting to get one of these for a long time just to experience the Ford 6.7 diesel engine. Big fan of the 7.3, then the 6.0. 6.4 I've never had. People scared me about the 6.4, said avoid it at all cost. Some other people said they're not that bad. I'm not sure. Which Ford diesel engine do you like the most? 7.3, 6.0, 6.4, 6.7?